Are you the kind of person who sits down to study for the LSAT, but 5 minutes in, you find you're scrolling through social media, pacing around the kitchen, or getting lost in random thoughts? If that's you, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're talking about turning your distractions, the very things you think are sabotaging your LSAT prep, into an advantage. I know it might sound counterintuitive, but today, I'm going to show you why those distractions might actually be a gold mine for boosting your LSAT score. Today, I'm going to share with you a concrete plan to work with your scattered mind rather than fight against it. And ultimately, you'll see how this mindset shift can help propel you toward that 170 plus LSAT score you've been aiming for. So, if you're ready to transform I can't focus into I've mastered my focus, let's get started. But first, for those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now, there's this huge misconception out there that some people are born with a focus superpower. These mythical beings can lock themselves in a room and study for 8 hours without looking up. The rest of us then feel like we're doing something wrong when we can't replicate that. But the thing is, real focus comes from understanding how your brain naturally seeks stimulation. When you ignore the brain's need for periodic breaks or new stimuli, your mind then forces a break by wandering off. It's not that you're lazy or undisciplined, it's just a biological response to sustained mental effort. Of course, the LSAT is meant to overload your cognitive abilities. It's a high-level test of reasoning, reading comp, and analytical skills. Tackling these questions back to back can quickly deplete your mental energy. If you then combine that with everyday distractions like family, friends, notifications on your phone, you've then got a recipe for scattered thoughts. And of course, let's not disregard the emotional side of things as well, because we're not just dealing with a test, we're dealing with what it represents. Your law school dreams, your career aspirations, and of course, scholarship money as well. The high stakes can ramp up your stress levels, making you even more prone to seeking short-term comfort in distractions. Now, the solution here is productive distractions with planned breaks. Instead of unplanned breaks where you forcibly concentrate without pause and then force your mind to rebel by daydreaming or scrolling on your phone, you instead take a planned break proactively, a 5-minute pause after a 25-minute study block. That helps satisfy your brain's craving for anxiety, and then you can turn those planned breaks into micro rewards. So instead of seeing a quick phone check or a stretch as a bad thing, you see it as a reward for a focused study interval. After 25 minutes of blocked off study time, you can then train your mind where you say, I'm going to complete 3 logical reasoning questions, then take a short walk, or then read an unrelated article for 5 minutes. This approach uses distractions strategically rather than letting them happen spontaneously and causing them to derail your focus. Then in your mini breaks, of course, you want to do something entirely different from LSAT prep, like making tea or coffee, doing a quick exercise, or even listening to a short motivational clip. Of course, you want to keep these breaks brief enough that you don't lose momentum, but still fulfilling enough that your mind feels rewarded. You can also help reduce your need for breaks by optimizing your physical space. You declutter your desk because a clear workspace signals to your brain that it's time to focus. And of course, manage the noises around you as well if you can. If your household's pretty busy, consider getting noise-canceling headphones or instead studying at a friendly location like a library or a quiet cafe. Also, set boundaries with others like your roommates or your family. Tell them, I'm studying for 25 minutes, then I'll be available. If you're clear about your needs, that will help them respect your focus time. Because of course, if you're constantly being pulled away, it's then impossible to train your mind to concentrate effectively. You could also try time blocking your day. Consider whether you're a morning person or a night owl. Identify what your peak hours are. If you are alert in the morning, schedule your critical study time then. And of course, if you're more focused late at night, plan accordingly. And set realistic durations for your studying. Trying to grind for 5 hours in one stretch just is not going to work, and it can actually be counterproductive. Instead, chunk your day into multiple smaller blocks. Now, before we go deeper into specific techniques, I wanted to let you know that at LSAT Unplugged, we offer private one-on-one LSAT coaching services personalized to your specific needs. And so if you've been feeling overwhelmed by distractions or uncertain about how to structure your prep for maximum impact, at LSAT Unplugged, we've helped countless students create personalized plans that fit their learning style and their daily schedule. If you'd like to find out more, you could check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now, let's continue uncovering how to turn your distractions into a secret weapon. First, setting micro goals. Because large goals like I've got to hit 170 plus can feel intimidating and discouraging. Instead, say to yourself, today I'll do 10 questions, then deeply review each one. Each micro goal that you accomplish boosts your confidence and keeps you moving forward without getting overwhelmed. You could also set daily or weekly targets. A daily target might be, I'm going to complete 2 reading comp passages and fully analyze them. A weekly target might be, I'm going to review 50 questions in depth, focusing on spotting the argument or the structure of the passage. You could also use a simple planner to mark these goals as being done. Watching that list of accomplishments fill up is incredibly motivating. Of course, finding a group or a coach to keep you accountable can help a lot as well. It could be a small group class setting or a private one-on-one coaching session. If you're meeting once or twice a week to check in, you can then share in that setting what distracted you and how you handled it. Being able to honestly reflect on what happened over the course of the week can help you strategize better going forward. Now I'm going to share the story of my student Emma. She was struggling with constantly needing to check her phone, but then she decided that after every 3 questions she completed, she'd reward herself with 2 minutes of phone time. Eventually, her craving to check the phone decreased because she realized it was always going to be there if she needed it, just in a controlled way. Within 6 weeks, her scores rose 7 points because she was no longer studying in a fragmented stop-and-go mode. Now, let's talk about how to deeply review during your studying to maximize your gains. You've got to slow down to speed up. Don't rush through 40 questions in one sitting just to say you did it, because if you don't review those answers in depth, you're missing the learning process. It's like practicing a sport but never analyzing your technique. So we want to engage in a 2-part review process. For the right answer, ask yourself why it's right. Tie it back to what the stimulus or the passage stated. And as you're reviewing the wrong answers, look at each one, ask yourself, what made this answer choice appealing to me and what ultimately makes it wrong? Pinpoint the exact problem with the answer choice so that you can spot it next time around. You also want to track patterns in your mistakes. Did you misread a key word or did you misinterpret the argument? Misreading a key word might be something like failing to notice a crucial word like some or most. You also want to note whether time pressure is having an impact on you or is it just the difficulty of the content itself. Sometimes you'll see you missed questions only when you were rushing rather than them being genuinely hard. A student of mine named Carlos realized he often missed questions that involved subtle shifts in the author's attitude. But once he started underlining keywords in reading comp, his accuracy skyrocketed. The key wasn't doing more passages, it was doing a deeper review of fewer questions. By the way, if you'd like a quick reference to some of the most essential LSAT strategies I recommend, I've put together a free, easy LSAT cheat sheet that condenses those into a simple one-pager. It's perfect to keep on your desk or pin to your wall, so you always have a reminder of the fundamentals. You can grab it at the link below, totally free. Just download it and use it right away. Now let's talk about how to prevent burnout and build up your endurance. Remember that rest and recovery are crucial to performing at your best, and trying to study for 5 to 6 hours straight often backfires. You end up getting diminishing returns on your concentration. Think of your brain like a muscle. Intense training without rest leads to injury. Here, injury is burnout, where you can't even look at an LSAT question without feeling exhausted. Instead, you want to schedule rest days into your prep, blocking off at least 1 day a week where you do 0 LSAT study. Use it to recharge, exercise, spend time with family, catch up on hobbies. Students who do this often find they return to their study sessions with fresher minds and better accuracy. And also, make sure that you're feeling good, that your mental health is solid. If you find yourself extremely anxious or depressed about the exam, it's a sign that you might need more balance or possibly professional support. No test, not even the LSAT, should consume your entire identity or self-worth. Try incorporating small mindfulness practices like a 5-minute deep breathing exercise or journaling. These can significantly reduce your stress. Let's talk about my student Mark. Mark tried marathon study sessions pushing 8 hours a day while juggling a part-time job. After 3 weeks, he was on the verge of quitting entirely. But he then cut his study time to 3 hours a day with proper breaks and rest days. His practice test scores actually increased 5 points in just a few weeks, simply because his brain was more refreshed and focused during the reduced study periods. Now, of course, distractions have always gotten a bad rap, but now you can see how they can be harnessed for good. The key is planning them, controlling them, and using them as micro rewards instead of random energy drains. By applying these strategies, you'll not only study more effectively, but you'll also retain more and get closer to that 170 plus LSAT score. So for your next steps going forward, pick one strategy. Maybe it's scheduling 25-minute study blocks or using micro goals and implement it today. Then track how it affects your studying. Do you feel less guilty taking breaks because they're planned? Then build on that momentum. That's it for now. I hope you found this helpful. Remember, distractions aren't inherently bad. They can be powerful tools when approached the right way. And if you'd like my help, you could check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And you can also get that free, easy LSAT cheat sheet to jumpstart your LSAT prep. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.